Okay, here we have it. 55 gallons. Not very full. Probably won't let this get very full. This will be my, what I call mother bin, but I'm not going to be lifting this thing up and down as you can already see. I have a couple of other bins underneath supporting this so I can stand up and do this one. They are not light bins. It takes me and someone else to do it. Kind of start pulling these back. Like I said, it's been a month since you guys have seen anyone or anything. Kind of overly wet system I harvested back at the beginning of November. And let's sit in here. Looks like they're making some decent progress. Just kind of going by what we see here. Oh yeah, look at that. Barely scratched the surface and I'm already pulling up some babies. Oh yeah, here we go. Looks like something must have hatched recently because it's that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this is a nice little colony of babies following a better size adult. So just for comparison, you can see these guys are way more active, a lot bigger. Not quite as big as those European night crawlers, but still decently sized. Now these guys went in November, I believe it was the 15th. I put these guys to work. If I don't knock everything down here, trying to dig through, kind of want to see what I'm going to find going down because, like I said, it's been a month. Seeing a lot of baby activity. See if we can pop through and find some eggs, maybe. Definitely getting their amount of grit broken through here. I'm definitely seeing a lot of that eggshell that I've been dumping in to most of the bins. Let's see how deep. So yeah, it's just about everything I'm pulling out in this one area is showing up worms. This is a very happy colony. So far, it seems like these guys are just reproducing faster. They're doing a good job. Here we go. Of ooh, making babies, apparently. So just so you can kind of see, if you've never seen before, this is a couple of worms getting entangled with each other, you know, for reproductive purposes. See, it looks like there's a baby hanging off right here, but it appears that these two are in an active swap, or were in an active swap before I disturbed them. We'll let them go back. Just kind of want to see our corner because I've been digging, a little bit further away from the corner. Oh yeah. So definitely looking like a good strong colony going in here. They're breaking down the materials quite fast actually. Like I said, I just seeded these guys back in November and they've already very well produced in here. You know, baby there, smaller, juvenile there. This is just one little corner section here. Trying to kind of break up, but here it is. There's where I grabbed. You know, you break open more and more. These worms have really, really gone to town. These are one of the specialty bait worms we are going to carry. They are my stinky worms. Not extremely large, you know, but they reproduce fast. They have a good amount, if you can see here. You know, reproductive side, head. Got a couple other babies worming around on the back part of my hand, but a very active worm colony. So for these guys, I have a whole bunch of pumpkin particles. All frozen. This is reflective of the actual weight, almost 4 pounds pumpkin right there. Of course, we'll add coffee, and then I still have a little bit of leftovers from what I didn't feed the other batches of worms. Gonna see what we're looking at, because these were only seeded with half-pound of worms, and I'm sure if I was to go through this right now, I could easily get more than a half-pound of worms out of this single bin. Now, I specifically started with a half-pound for the purpose of knowing what my reproductive rate was. I gave them a huge space. I just set them in here. You can kind of follow it on Instagram. I've been trying to keep an up-to-date story on there. Definitely going to kind of disturb this whole middle section to see what we got going on, because I want to give you an idea of how deep this actually is. To the bottom. You know, not huge. 8 inches. You can see as we dig a handful out, you just start at the bottom and grip right here. You can see those worms are everywhere from the bottom all the way to that uppermost surface. Kind of like a cutaway of where this guy's going right now. And you can see exactly what's going on in there. But you can actually see that in this section, a bunch of babies had just hatched. See right here, this red flake of paper. Yeah, no, I'm not picky on paper. As long as it doesn't have a very bad gloss to it, I will shred it and I will put it through this mixture. So, really good mix here. I'm going to jumble their world up a little bit because starting to get compacted. And compacted changes their world completely. I hate to interrupt their world. They're doing a good job, but sometimes they need my help to break up these big chunks so they don't stick together. These guys are almost at the right amount. You can see right here in this piece that I'm pulling apart. See how my finger kind of formed it? That's kind of what's left of the food waste that was in here. What I will do is I'll make a nice big section, again right here in the center, so they spread all my particles across this bin. Sorry for the rockiness, I had to set you guys up high just so you could kind of see, you know. Already in here I probably have 7-8 gallons of material, probably about the same over here. I'll pile some more leaves on because of this nasty gnat fly situation. I am going to give them a special dose of fly mosquito repellent. I didn't want to try and use these, but I think that this is a good thing to mix in anyways, because this will keep things like mosquitoes away from your outside crops later on. So I've been trying to add a little bit of this every time I put some in. Just let the water and the worms break it down. This is nothing bad. It is actually an FDA approved fungus. That's all we are in here. Parts of a fungus that have been dried out. You add a little bit of water, this stuff repels the mosquitoes. This is 100% food safe. Some people don't agree with this, but this is a new practice I'm trying to start because I know what mosquitoes are like around here. I know what fruit flies and stuff do to crops. What they do to the soil isn't beneficial. So I try and add a healthy section. This is the second dose I've added in here. Once I break this side up, I'll add the same amount or a little bit less in on that side. That'll be a nice mix. You know, a lot of material like this doesn't seem to add up, but once you're done, you know, this bin originally started probably about right here. Not very high, but it's grown. These worms have really come a long way in the last couple of months. And thinning out our material. No, maybe not. Thought for a second this one might be pregnant, but it does not appear that way. Just very chunky, if you will. But this stuff is super soft, super nice. It's like kind of like fluffy dirt. You know, you see there's a lot of unbroken down matter, baby worms crawling right out of it. Good stuff. Good stuff for the earth. You know, all of this is carbon. You burn this stuff, it's bad for our atmosphere. But you let these worms break it down, you break it down in composting, you end up with a healthy ecosystem that starts to replenish itself. These guys are not very cold tolerant. That's why I have the heater in the garage. They like to run warm. You notice they're not quite as active as, like, say, the European night crawlers or the red wigglers. It's because I'm pulling them out of this really warm stuff. It feels like it's got to be about 70, 75 in this dirt right here. But I'm going to go ahead and pile back so I can move this little assortment of leaves back over here. right before I mix them in. See? Biggest mistake ever. Moldy coffee. Mixed in with a little bit of other stuff. Thought I was saving myself time, and all I got was a whole bunch of insects that are very annoying. Well, I like to take these bins apart because I only service them once a month. They have so much material in them, so much good stuff. You can see how well these guys are thriving in here. Not even surviving, thriving. Every scoop, I pull out more and more worms. Not a lot, but this is just the start of a business. My hopes is to be able to supply product such as this, once these guys are done with it, to some of the local farms for their CSA products or their own local products, and give them a nice healthy dose of soil that will not only boost their production, but make them more resistant to, hopefully, these little gnats. And disease, all of this stuff you can see. It's nice and gooey, but also very dry. Crumbly, much like a wrung out sponge, as some people would like to say. Makes a nice ball, but it crumbles apart. Now, if you want to start something like this at home, it's very simple. A lot of people have these kind of tubs at home. I'm doing it on a much larger scale. We'll post a couple of videos here shortly for the next round since they're doing so well. A couple handfuls of this dirt in a new startup tub. And we'll show you how we do that.